You ever watch an entire room freeze because one person finally says, "No more"? That's how it started. With one tap on a phone in Atlanta, a woman in economy clothes silenced a lounge full of power suits, and somewhere behind her, an airline CEO watched his own stock price drop on live TV. Not a soul in the place had any idea the ordinary black woman at the counter owned nearly a quarter of their entire airline. Hell, most of them probably wouldn't have believed it if you told them to their face. But Jasmine Taylor? She didn't need anyone's belief. She was there to get on a flight, and in the end, to burn the whole damn system down and rebuild it right. Let me back up a sec. Jasmine grew up in Mon, Georgia, daughter of a math teacher and a postal worker. Humble, for sure, but sharp as a tack, always pulling apart old electronics while other kids were outside. No fancy camps, no private tutors. Just hand-me-down computers, stubborn curiosity, and parents who never taught her she couldn't. By 13, she'd built her own firewall. At Georgia Tech, one of 4 black women in her class, she killed it. Top grades, respect from her professors, but not so much from the tech industry. You know the drill. Walk into a meeting, get mistaken for the help, start bringing your own coffee just to cut the comments off. After years watching her ideas get sidestepped and her name left off patents, Jasmine finally said screw it, bet on herself, and launched Taylor Tech out of a shoebox apartment. A decade later, her company was protecting Fortune 500s from hacks the big boys couldn't stop, and Jasmine, quiet, unassuming Jasmine, was worth more than $250 million still, you'd never know it. She kept the Camry, wore simple clothes, lived in the same modest Atlanta house she bought before her first big contract. Most days she even flew economy. To know my customer's reality, she'd tell her financial advisor, who probably lost sleep over that. But 6 months ago, Jasmine bought a fat slice, 22%, of Skyline Airlines. She and her only real confidant, Darius, loyal as blood, sharp as glass, kept that little secret to themselves. She wasn't there to shake things up. At least, not at first. Flash forward. Jasmine's headed to San Francisco to keynote the biggest security conference of her career, riding Skyline. First class for once. The airport's a zoo, but Jasmine likes a little chaos. What she doesn't like? Walking up to the fancy check-in only to get directed to economy by a desk clerk who never even looks at her ticket. "I have a first-class reservation," she says, all calm. Cue the eyebrow raise, the snide, "How did you book this?" and that you're eligible for 2 free checked bags, you know. Then, after endless pointless checks, she's flagged for random extra screening. The only black woman in the line to get that honor, naturally. And here's where the universe throws her a curveball. Terrence, another black exec, gets the same stamp. They share stories on the way to the lounge. He's been randomly screened half a dozen times this year. He's filed complaints. Nothing's changed. And rumor has it, Skyline's facing a discrimination lawsuit nobody's talking about yet. Jasmine's business brain kicks into high gear. If this is true, her investment just got a lot more complicated than I in the lounge. The welcome is anything but. The attendant, Sandra, barely glances at her boarding pass before trying to shuffle her off to general seating. Jasmine stays cool, insists on a manager, and when the manager grudgingly admits her ticket's legit, he can't help a parting shot. These people always want to make a scene. The CEO, Clayton Williams, stands right there and says nothing. Now, a lot of folks would have walked away. Jasmine does the opposite, calls Darius, says 3 words, "Prepare Plan Delta." That's code for the nuclear option. Boarding is no better. Gate agent claims her seat number's unreadable. It's not. Tries to push her aside until an older white guy, Howard, steps up and calls it out. "That's first class. Let her board." Even then, the flight attendant in the cabin questions her 3 times, while practically rolling out the red carpet for everyone else. Guess who takes the seat next to Jasmine? Clayton Williams, CEO. "Business or pleasure?" he asks. "Business." Keynote at TechSecure. The small talk fizzles. As turbulence hits, flight attendants clean up the CEO's spilled drink before they even glance at Jasmine's. When she points out the double standard, Clayton shrugs. "I'm the CEO. They know me." Jasmine's not buying it. And she's not letting it go. That's when the twist lands. Breaking news, right on the in-flight TV, about mysterious investor activity in Skyline stock. The CEO's face drains of color. Jasmine, cool as ice, scrolling her tablet, fielding updates from Darius about the company's hidden complaints, discriminatory bonus structures, board proposals for inclusion that Clayton personally shot down. When Clayton tries to gaslight her, Jasmine hits him with facts, documented discrimination, patterns, evidence. He threatens legal action. She just nods and says, maybe we should have a formal meeting about Skyline's real problems. Now, the rest of First Class is watching. Captain Harrison comes over. So do Howard and a few others who saw what went down. Turns out, Jasmine's not the only one with receipts. Multiple passengers, a flight attendant named Amara, even the pilot, all confirm they've seen this crap for years. The tide's turning and the CEO knows it. Landing in San Francisco, Clayton makes his last power move. Tells security Jasmine's been disruptive. But Jasmine is always one step ahead. She's got everything recorded. Darius meets her at the gate as legal counsel, and security backs off fast when they realize who she is. The final gut punch. As Jasmine files her own complaint, Amara, the flight attendant, steps forward with a folder full of evidence, telling her, I've been documenting this for years. If you can make a difference, I'll help. Jasmine's original plan was to sell her Skyline shares, dump the mess, and walk away. But after meeting the employees stuck in this toxic system, she pivots. Instead, she starts buying more shares, enough to call a board meeting, where she drops the motherload: evidence, witnesses, data, and a demand for change. The board, blindsided, suspends Clayton, launches a full investigation, and, here's the twist, offers Jasmine the CEO job, but she turns it down. She knows fixing a broken company isn't about putting a new name on the door. She pushes instead for a council of employees at every level, real authority to change policy, real teeth in anti-discrimination measures. Amara gets promoted to head the new division. Bias in hiring and bonuses is tackled head-on. The numbers start to change: more diversity, better retention, higher customer satisfaction. And Jasmine keeps flying the airline, this time seeing her vision actually come to life. 6 months later, at a staff workshop, Jasmine stands in front of 300 employees, telling them change doesn't come from the top or from outside pressure alone. It comes from those who've lived the problems, empowered to design the solutions. That's the new Skyline. On her next flight, she gets no sideways looks, no snide comments. Instead, Howard sits next to her again, grins, and says, "Never thought I'd see the day. Thank you for not walking away." And yeah, the media calls it the Taylor effect, but Jasmine knows it's bigger than her. The lesson isn't about one powerful investor. It's about what happens when the people most affected by injustice take the lead, and the rest of us have the guts to back them up. So, what would you do if you were Jasmine? Walk away, or stay and fight for change? Sound off in the comments. Ever witnessed discrimination and wondered if you should speak up or keep your head down? Share your story, and if this got you thinking, hit like and subscribe so we can keep telling the stories that matter. Because sometimes, the smallest act, refusing to be diminished, can ripple out and flip the whole damn script.